All right, everybody, happy Monday, and welcome to Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, where the court isn't bound by legal technicalities, but by the voice of the people. In this courtroom, remember, reputation, privilege, and accountability takes center stage. We are living in a time where accusations can spread faster than the truth, and where the mere hint of a scandal can dismantle careers, and where the justice system often bends to the influence of the powerful and rich. But tonight, we're going to strip away the glamour and the headlines and look at the cold, hard facts. Does celebrity status come with a free pass to avoid justice, or are public figures unfairly targeted for their fame? We will explore 6 of the most controversial legal battles making headlines today. We will examine the facts, question the legal implications, and engage our panel of legal experts to weigh in on the real-life consequences of these cases. But more importantly than anything, we will ask you, yes, you, the jury of public opinion, to decide who's guilty and who walks free. Tonight's docket is packed with high-stake courtroom drama. We got defamation battles, immigration detentions, Hollywood power players, and even the intersection of faith, hallelujah, and scandal. So with so much at stake, we can't afford to shy away from the hard questions. And those hard questions we're going to explore right here tonight on Celebrity Court. Joining us first up, and oh my goodness, is it Christmas or close to Christmas? Because we have the one and only, the entertainment Esquire, Counselor Ashley.
Hi, everybody. Glad to be back. I'm going to try to be a regular as much as possible, at least on Mondays. Glad to see everyone.
All right. New hair, new cares. All right. Joining her. Don't forget now, your emoji is the blue.
No, not the blue. The star, the gold star.
The gold star. All right. Gold star. Joining her tonight is the civil attorney, that fiery lady, Shatan Turner. Counselor Turner, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Hey, Your Honor. Hey, Ashley. I'm excited to be with you again.
All right. Now you're feeling better, Attorney Turner?
Oh, I am, and I'm ready to go.
All right. Let's get it. All right. Let's keep going. Shit that they didn't teach you in law school or something like that. Author Jason Weiss, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Something like that, Your Honor. I appreciate
What is the name? I'm going to get it right eventually.
Shit they never taught you in law school.
Shit they never taught you in law school. And you have a volume 2 coming out. Tell us about it.
Volume 2 will be coming out in probably May or June, and it's called, ready for this? More shit they never taught you in law school.
Okay, and rounding up, not last, not least, the humorous in law, Attorney Sean Carter with his slips. Welcome back to Celebrity Court.
But you know what? Since we have a little time at the beginning, my wife has been bugging me to clarify that she is not wearing a slip. She's old enough to wear a slip, but she wearing lacy panties like the rest of y'all. All right, she just wanted me to let you know that she's sick of people saying she wears a slip. I'll bring him next week if you want me to. I'll bring him on the show, but trust me, she got nice drawers.
All right, don't forget to throw that shield in the chat for Attorney Weiss, and throw that clown emoji in the chat for Attorney Carter, and always throw that fax emoji in the chat for me, your attorney. All right, court is now in session. Ooh, boy. Father God, please forgive me. First up, Bishop T.D. Jakes, a towering figure in the religious community, is fighting back against what he calls a smear campaign. accused of sexual assault by former pastor Dwayne Youngblood, Jace is now taking legal action, filing a defamation lawsuit against his accuser. And what we found out now is that there's a total of 3 accusers. The case raises a question about reputation, false allegations, and legal redress in the age of viral accusations. All right, first up, Attorney Sean Carter. Tell me now, how does defamation law protect public figures from false allegations, if they're false?
If they're false. And so the standard, and we go through this from time to time, we should do it again. There's a 3-part standard to prove a defamation claim. 1, the statement must be false. So you had to lie on somebody. All right. 2, you had to have said it publicly so other people knew about it. You know, if you lie on somebody in your head, it doesn't count. And then 3, with celebrities, you actually have to have actual malice. And what that means is you either have to know what you said was a lie, or you just were so reckless about it, you listened to something you heard, right, you know, in the barbershop. Okay. That said, in this case, the malice is an issue because remember, the accuser knows the truth one way or the other. So if it's proven false, then they knew they were lying the whole time. All right. And so it is a stronger case. It's a much easier case to bring against an accuser. And we saw this happen with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp just last year. All right. Johnny Depp ended up winning a $10 million lawsuit. Amber Heard had mentioned indirectly in a New York Washington Post article about abuse that she had been abused by him. He brought the lawsuit, and sure enough, the court ruled that, you know what, this wasn't true. She knew she was lying on him, and they ended up, you know, giving him a $10 million verdict. So this is the kind of thing where if you what's the word expression for it? If you take a shot at the king, or in this case, the bishop, you better not miss. You better be telling the truth. Otherwise, he can get you. Now, I don't know how much these people have, by the way. You know, Amber Heard had 10 million. I don't think that these people have anything really to give them, but it's a way to sort of try to clear your name in the public.
Got it. All right. Speaking of clearing your name in the public, let's go to you, Attorney Entertainment Esquire. This is my question because as we've seen over the last couple of months, I don't know about you, but I attend the one church in Los Angeles in Hollywood. And his daughter has done an amazing job of building up that church. But as of late, like in the last 6 to 12 months, she's kind of stepped back and they've appointed a new pastor who they inducted 2 weeks ago. All right. So she's taking more of a role now with her husband. Even the husband has stepped back in Texas. Also, he has recently suffered a heart attack. All right. Could any of this be perceived by the public as possible smoke around a possible fire?
I don't want to say necessary smoke, but I actually think ironically it helps his case with damages because he can show that the false statements are actually causing him physical, mental, emotional stress to the point he had a heart attack. Like he has a physical damage that has occurred because of these false allegations. So I actually think it helps his damages part because with defamation, you also have to show that there was some sort of damage. Obviously, defamation per se, you don't. And I guess this would probably fall, Attorney Sean Carter, you can concur with me or confirm. I want to say this would fall under defamation per se, where there's certain categories. If you accuse someone of an STD, a crime, something against their professional career, there's certain categories. If you accuse it, you don't actually even have to prove damages. So I think actually in this case, even though this actually helps his damages claim, he doesn't even have to prove damages. This is a defamation per se claim.
All right, let's go to you, Attorney Weiss. I want to poke the bear here a little bit. Can't also attacking this in the public eye as a lawsuit fighting it, can't that be perceived as a counteract to reputational damage?
Sure. I mean, why not? I mean, anytime you're going to use the law on your side, so you can say that, you know, I'm doing this because it's completely false and completely BS and complete bogus. And that is, and I'm so sure of it that I'm going to file a lawsuit again, you know, for it.
Or I'm saying you're using this as a way to combat the negative press that's coming along with your name being associated with this. And you know that TD Jakes and New Birth got some deep, long pockets.
Yep.
So if they needed to, keep this in the court system, they could do that. A lot of powerful people use the court system and their money, Attorney Carter, to do these things, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And like you said, the Potter House has all the money. They used to get $100 of my money every month. So I totally get it. I got a free parking space there, which was nice. So don't think I was silly about it. But yeah, they have the money to do this. And the real question, I think, is, I think you're going to lead to is it wise to do this? Does this create a healthy, or does this help you more than it hurts you? Because when he's not getting any money out of these people, I imagine these people don't have any money to give him, right? So the only thing you can get is reputational damage or rehabilitation. But he has the problem, the possible problem of creating the Streisand effect. And what that means is that you can take a little matter that only 4 people knew about on the internet, and now you could blow it up so it's a national story and everybody knows about it. It's called the Streisand effect because a few years ago, somebody took pictures of Barbara Streisand's home on the coast. It was in a database with 12,000 other pictures. She sued the people for $50 million. Only 6 people had downloaded it by then. But by the time that the lawsuit came out, 170,000 people that month alone went to the website to see what was going on. So she didn't want nobody to see her house. Everybody got to see her house because she brought the lawsuit. And so sometimes you do that where, in this case, we're talking about it. We probably wouldn't be talking about it today if it wasn't for the fact that he brought the lawsuit. So sometimes you do have to make sure you don't do the Streisand thing. It doesn't always work as well as it worked for Barbara.
And South Park picked up that story too. The South Park guys did a thing on that. So it got attention.
They are, nothing's out of bounds for those guys. Really quickly to you, Attorney Turner, what role does burden of proof play in defamation cases versus criminal cases?
Well, it's the difference between the burden of proof in a civil case versus the burden of proof in a criminal case. One's the preponderance of the evidence, that's the civil, and one's beyond a reasonable doubt, that's the criminal. And so the burden of proof in criminal cases is steeper. And if you ever forget about that, the biggest reminder of that is what happened with OJ, right? If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. He was found not guilty criminally, but he still has, as we've talked a few weeks ago, the state is still fighting against the civil judgments that he had. But for the bishop has done a lot of good things for a lot of people. People are picking on him because he has a lisp, and they're just assuming that goes with the stereotype. So I think that until
stereotype, Attorney Turner,
I am voting now. That used to be a thing. Like if you watch old movies, they used to stereotype people who were gay with giving him a lisp, right? They've been coming for bishop for that for a long time. Yeah. So until I get evidence to the contrary, I vote not guilty, Bishop. From my lips to God's ears, and hopefully I get all of the blessings that flow.
I agree.
I want to say one more thing about the damages. He may not be even asking for money. Sometimes you can ask for injunctive relief. Sometimes you can say, for example, Drake in his lawsuit, a big part of his damages is not even, some of it is money, but he actually wants the Universal Music Group to admit that those were false statements about him being a pedophile in the song. Sometimes you're actually asking someone to do something. So in this case, these people don't have any money. So I have to believe he's going to ask more or less for injunctive relief to get them to stop saying moving forward that he did anything as it relates to sexual assault with them.
Okay, right here, really quickly. Deaf God says, poor Diddy Cakes. Happy NYC, the ML family says, oh Lord, definition has swallowed him up.
What about Tanya Kelly? He hangs with Diddy, right?
Natural Heart says it's new accusers, so it's not old. That's right, there are new accusers. Natural Heart, the one that stole someone else's husband. Oh my. Queen Riley said, though they're trying to change their image. Let me ask this question to our algoriters. Should high-profile individuals sue for defamation, or does it give more attention to the allegations? What are our thoughts on that, algoriters? Let's drop down in the chat real quick. Should high-profile people sue for defamation allegations, or does it just bring more attention to the situation? All right, give it some thought right there. Drop down in the chat. We're going to move it right along. Next up, the reality TV world collides with legal drama as Simon Gabadia, the estranged husband of Real Housewives of Atlanta star Portia Williams, find himself in ICE custody. That's correct. You heard me. He is what? Clank, clank. With little information on why he's detained, the case highlights the complexities of immigration law and public perception and running your mouth too damn much. All right, we're going to throw to you, Entertainment Esquire. Under what circumstances can ICE detain an individual without public disclosure, like Simon? Because it's my understanding he may not be a citizen, but he was granted something to allow him to be in the United States.
So my understanding of Mr. Simon Gabadia, Portia's estranged husband from Real Housewives of Atlanta, is that he did actually originally come to this country legally in 1982. So he came legally, and then his visa expired around 1985. So what happened in his scenario is he actually just overstayed, right? And when he overstayed, that was already strike one. He committed a crime in 1987, credit card fraud. So not only did you overstay, you started to commit crimes here in the US. So the issue now is when you now go and try to legitimately file for naturalization, when you try to marry an American woman, you're doing everything to stack your cards to become naturalized, right? You're doing everything you can. They still have the right to turn down your petition. And so even before Portia filed for divorce, this is kind of how her divorce actually came about.
Okay.
He kept getting denied, and she started to see the documentation and the reasons why they were denying him. And a big part of it is, even though you have businesses here, you've married an American woman, you know, you're listing all these legitimate things, you've committed crimes here in the United States. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that's a big no-no. It is very, and this is actually.
Yeah, but she knew he committed those crimes 20 years ago. She married him.
There's no time limit on it. When they look at trying to allow you to become a naturalized citizen, that's one of the biggest things that will hold you back from becoming naturalized, regardless of when the crimes occurred.
All right, can we go to you, Attorney Carter? Explain to me why he married an American citizen and it didn't work. Oh my goodness, it's got to be Christmas now. Brian Ross has joined the docket.
Y'all know my flight was delayed. I was at the NAACP Image Awards last night. Me and Teddy Riley were backstage hanging out.
Please stop it, because I would have seen you there, sir. And not to mention it was Saturday night.
They all blur together for him.
Jason and Timmy all blurs together and you get to LA. It all blurs together.
Be a lawyer and lie.
Me and Teddy Riley were backstage with Janet Jackson, and just one thing led to another.
All right, Venetia Phillips said Attorney Ross is in the house. Blue hearts. For Portia, he was the best thing since sliced bread to her. That's right. Okay, so let's go back to the original question. Simon better call Attorney Ross. All right, really quickly. What legal recourse, Attorney Carter, or Brian, if you want to take this, or even Jason, because you guys work in a state that's heavy with immigration nowadays. What legal recourse does Gabadia have now?
Jason. Not much. I mean, look, he overstayed his visa once and got deported. He came back. He overstayed his visa again, got arrested twice, and got deported. Then he comes back. We don't know if he came back legally or how he came back. And she filed for divorce after 15 months. So he's already gotten 2 strikes, probably 3 strikes. I don't know, and they haven't released why he's being held. But if it's any type of crime, any traffic infraction, jaywalking, making an illegal right turn. They grab them, they're holding them, and they're shipping them out, and it doesn't matter.
All right. Daniel Cameron said Portia thought she had an African prince and got the prince of scams. Attorney Ross, explain to me though. I always thought all you had to do was marry an American citizen and you would get your citizenship. Why is that not the case? And how was I misinformed for so many years?
You and I know a very prominent immigration attorney. His name was Angel Arias. We have to get him on your show one day if we can. Probably one of the foremost immigration attorneys in the country. And he taught me one thing at immigration that stuck with me. That if you are not born in the United States of America, you can be kicked out. So if he has had deportation, then deportation, right? And then he has a crime on top of that, especially in the Make America Great Again, Trump, my boy era. It's a wrap, man. It's a wrap. There's no way. His only hook was that he could have stayed married. And who knows what she alleges? She may allege some sort of fraud on his behalf. She may say he never really loved me. He only wanted me to be his wife so we can get some sort of residency here. He's gone.
But wait. No, remember, this isn't his first American wife. The wife before this was an American as well.
Right.
Yeah,
And so just so we're clear,
now, though, this is the one that he would be trying to hang his hat to. So what are you asking Attorney Reynolds why his problem wasn't cured by his prior marriage?
Yes.
Oh, he didn't. Wow.
It has to do. There's a lot of facts. Look, if you take the typical person who comes to the United States, gets married, stays married more than 2 years, and has gone through all the checks and done everything, chances are that person's going to be allowed to stay. But you got to remember, before all of this, arrested, overstayed, deported, arrested, overstayed, deported, fraud, major crime.
Fraud is out.
All of these are no bads. And that's going to say, look, we've given you a whole opportunity. Tough. You're out. And they can do that.
algoriters.
Hold on. Christopher Liverman wants to know, was Ross at the Black History event at the White House?
Okay. Christopher
Liverman. It's hard for you, Attorney Ross.
I was the dude in a black tuxedo holding a plate. All right. So I was there, but I wasn't invited.
Daphne said Portia called ICE on that man.
Well, that's what I was going to say, that Portia did him like that thing I told you about those Mexican wives allegedly sending their husbands to Home Depot.
Yep.
She doesn't want to be married to him before. She doesn't care if he goes back to Africa.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she did it, but this is the best thing that ever happened to her.
This is the best thing because he had filed a defamation suit against her.
Yeah, she called in. She's like, he's leaving Home Depot with a Snickers bar in his pocket.
Tom makes a good point. She's in the middle of a contentious divorce with him. He won't give her the divorce. He's holding it up with a separate defamation lawsuit against her for erectile dysfunction. He claims that she said that he had, that he claims that he doesn't have. So, I mean, I'm not saying she called him, but
Brian, let me ask you this.
He needs to hang out with Justin Tucker, and they'll take care of it.
I know my wife is at a Home Depot a lot.
Hello. Brian, question from the criminal side. If he has all these cases in the court system, but he's being deported, does his cases against Bravo, does his cases against the production company, does his cases against Portia go away?
No, all that's civil. So you can do that from a distance. He doesn't have to be here. His lawyers can be here. He won't be allowed. He will not be allowed to come back here and testify. There is no waiver that would allow him to come back into the country if he gets deported during these things while the litigation is still going on and come back and testify. So if that matters, his presence matters, that's a big deal. But he's not going to, they'll be able to do the Zoom. He'll be able to, what's called perpetuate testimony, which is to record it, but he won't be able to come back and testify. That's out. I think he's a goner.
Yeah, they can do what they want. All I know is that if Portia got to stay married to him, but he's not going to be in this country, that's the equivalent of being single. She could take that up with Jesus. This is good.
Attorney Turner, that's illegal advice.
Well, you understand that they don't have to be technically divorced for her to do her non-Jesus stuff, right?
Well, clearly she was doing her non-Jesus stuff allegedly with Bolo or one of them big old dancers in one of them parties.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, just saying, nope. We actually heard and saw some footage, didn't we? All right, everybody. Here's the question for the algoriters: is this a legal matter or is it being sensationalized by the media? Algoriters jump down into the chat as we move on to the next topic. And baby, I can't wait to get the criminal defense attorneys and Sean's opinion on this. A prominent attorney turned courtroom spectacle, Tony Busby, has been barred from practicing in a New York court due to professional misconduct allegations. One of the most controversial lawyers in the country now, his case raises ethical and legal concerns about legal representation. I'm going to throw to you, Attorney Brian Ross, first. Tell me, what in this case constitutes professional misconduct for this attorney?
It could be any number of things. Personally, I think, and I'm going to go way out here, that Jay-Z has extensive hands in New York. I believe it. I believe that this fraud lawsuit that Tony Busby filed, that he dismissed prejudice, was it what, 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
I think that Jay-Z is viciously I think Jay-Z is the basis for all of this. I think he's like, get this guy out of here. He has that type of reach in New York. In New York. I don't think he has that type of reach in Texas, but in New York. So Busby, there's a lot of things you can do. Frivolous filings where you're not licensed, right? He has to come in on another lawyer's license or be admitted what's called pro hoc vice. Today's word is pro hoc vice. So I am not licensed in California, but every once in a while I do a case there because I have lawyers out there who apply to the state of California to allow me to come in without taking the California bar exam, without taking the California ethics requirements. I can come in for 2 or 3 cases a year, and I do what's called pro hoc them back into Florida, right?
Okay.
It's pro hoc vice in New York. That means they can kick you out real easy. So that's what I think. I think it's a bunch of political semantics, to tell you the truth.
Okay, speaking of semantics, Attorney Carter, let me ask you this. We talked about this in the chambers that according to the media and public opinion, if Jay-Z's behind this, he's done an excellent job of discrediting this attorney. In your opinion, from the legal standpoint, how big of a deal is this for this attorney? And can he still do pro hoc vice or ceviche, whatever?
He can eat ceviche on his plane, of course, but you know.
No, and this actually ties into the last case we talked about, which is that once you've and you know, part of the thing they're saying is you didn't file the right paperwork to be here in New York. He didn't file his pro hoc vice applications, and as a result, you're saying what about happens in other states? The law is interesting. Every lawyer is licensed in one particular state or whatever individual states. And then when you go to another state, you got to file for application. But whatever you do in one state will apply to another state. So if you didn't file the right paperwork in New York, if you try to go to Arizona, he tries to come here to Arizona, they can be like, hey, did you file the right paperwork the last time you were somewhere else? Because once you make one of these types of mistakes, they sort of compound each other. I don't think it's going to cost him his license. He still has his New York state license. This is just for federal court in New York. He can still do that. And likely he can get this fixed, but he's going to have to probably bring in another lawyer who's properly licensed in the Southern District of New York, who can sort of partner with him. Somebody's going to get a little bit of his glory. And somebody needs to get a little bit of his glory because he's been a little reckless.
But he's also, if I can respond to, he's got all these lawsuits against Diddy, right? And the problem is those lawsuits are in the Southern District of New York where he wants to get his money.
Right.
So he can't go there now, right? And just say, I'm here. And what he did was he could have avoided it. So that money from the Diddy case, he's going to have to farm that out to another lawyer now, which is what people want to see is him. He is this magnanimous Johnny Cochran type of figure. He's a legal phenom, so to speak, whatever you want to think of him. And he walks in the room, people think, wow, that's that lawyer. That's that lawyer. He carries credibility. He lost that now. So it's tough.
And that's what I was telling in chambers, Judge Al, that although an easy fix to this is just to partner with another lawyer who's licensed in federal court in New York, just partner with that lawyer, then you're going to have to give him money, glory, media attention because you won't be the lawyer in the courtroom, even if you partner with this attorney to just enter the appearance so your client's case can continue on. I think the issue is he wants the glory. He won't be able to do it that way.
Right. I
But
feel
you know
like
what's interesting? You know who gets the glory a lot?
Tony Turner, what were your thoughts?
I was going to say another issue is the one that Attorney Ross kind of glossed over a little bit, which is the reach of Jay-Z, right? Who is going to want to take these cases if Busby is, you know, such a lightning rod and persona non grata? Like, depending on what you do and how you roll, like, people just might not want to touch anything that Busby has.
Right?
And take them from him. So they may require him to like withdraw, look at the cases separately, and then try to represent these people as opposed to being connected to Busby if what they want to do long-term is to have good connections in the Southern District of New York. New York is always funny to me, the city. Like I grew up in the nether regions. Nobody cares what happens in Rochester, but the culture in the city is very small town. Like the circles are the circles, and people may think long and hard about one. Busby was sloppy, right? So he had this case that he decided to withdraw with prejudice, right? Which means he thought it was crap, right? And so then he also made an enemy of one of the most powerful men in the world in so doing. So I think it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. I'm gonna get me some popcorn and I'm gonna watch.
Too. All right, Christopher Lieberman said we have the Avengers assembled tonight on here. Yes, we do. Don't mess around with the court of public opinion, baby. Danielle Cameron says, get you together with who else did we have? Danielle Cameron says, Mr. Busby, how are you not going to make sure you're legally able to practice law in New York City? I'm not trusting you with my case, and you can't. I think that's some good stuff here. So here's the question for our algorithm.
Whoa!
Wow. A super chat. Thank you, Danielle.
Super chat.
All right. Wait a second. Drinks on everybody. Water.
We having scripts tonight.
Water for everybody. Daniel Cameron, baby, come through. We might have to send you to the private room. Or Brian Ross and Shaquan Turner takes it off.
Hey, Danielle, guess what? The judge is going to send you an autograph poster.
Here we go. Here's the
have
question.
a campaign room on this show that I do.
I'm sending her a book.
There you go.
There it is.
I'm sending her a book.
That's
Come
really
on
good
with the money. Daniel Cameron said, I'm ready, Your Honor. I know. I'm going to leave that alone, Brian. Algoriters, does power and influence shield lawyers from true accountability? Do you think he was able to get away with that because he was a white male who was very powerful in the legal world? Let's answer that. Algoriters, does power and influence shield lawyers from true accountability, especially in this case because he was a white male who's a very popular criminal lawyer? Drop down in the chat. Let me know your thoughts. All right, coming up next. I'm so sick of this story. The only reason we're covering this is because of our producer.
I'm under the bus. I'm a judge. Before you get, I'm gonna tell you, I am completely confused with this entire timeline. So I need like my ace, my heart, Shaitan, or this beautiful the entertainment esquire explain it to me because I'm like, what is this about? I'm trying to figure out the meat. Like,
okay, we're gonna get to it because we don't talk.
Attorney Ross, don't even bother trying to find out. Just
I've been reading it, studying it. I don't get it.
Here we go.
Just so old.
Hollywood's legal battle heats up as actor-director Justin Badoni sues Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds for $400 million, accusing them of defamation and extortion over their collaboration on It Ends With Us. Contracts, creative control, and the power of public statements are all in question. Entertainment Esquire, take it away and tell Attorney Ross what this case is about and what's going on, and where did this $400 million defamation lawsuit come from?
Okay, so try to keep up. I'm going to just condense it. So you have Blake Lively, the girl from Gossip Girl, and then you have this gentleman right here that I think was on Jane the Virgin. That's what they're most known for. They come together with this amazing Netflix movie, which I think is it's unfortunate that their real life drama is actually overshadowing the movie that did really well. And supposedly, they had some intimate conversations before and after filming
And
and
during.
and during. And so, in her mind, it was harassment. She, had a meeting with him and staff to give notes on what was making her comfortable, not comfortable. But then
Typical woman.
beyond the harassment, there was some creative control issues where it was almost like her and her husband were trying to take over the film. And he's the actual director in addition to the actor. And so here's the issue. He did a really good job of creating a paper trail that when there were concerns brought up, he had meetings, he has voice notes, he has text messages. So
Yes, video.
he's done a really good job of countering everything that she has said. So she's starting to kind of look like an Amber Heard in this, unfortunately. And so what she tried to do also was a paper trail. So essentially, once they had all this falling out on the movie, she first just filed some general complaint. But then she took it a step up and filed an actual civil lawsuit against her for harassment. That got leaked to the New York Times. The New York Times ran with her story without Justin, of course, doing any due diligence. New York Times says they did their due diligence, but they do the article about her lawsuit. So what does he turn around and do? He turns around and countersues New York Times and Blake and her husband. And this is where we had the $400 million suit because he's countersued. He's also sued his publicist in this. So there are actually 3 lawsuits in the universe of It Ends With Us.
Wow. Does celebrity status impact whether the outcomes? Because this would be civil only, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is civil. I mean, I don't think she's filed it. The state would have to go up against him for harassment. There has been no criminal complaint filed against him. These are all civil lawsuits. But I have a feeling, I don't know why, I just like everything's going to get tossed. I feel like the courts are just going to be like, this is messy. We're going to throw out his defamation. We're going to throw out the harassment. I just have a feeling because it's just so messy that one may just cancel out the other. But I don't know. I will say this. He is like the Johnny Depp of this. He's like, oh, you're going to come for me? Let's release the 2 a.m. voice notes, which he does. Right. He has a very nice voice, by the way. He should do like readings at night. He has a very sexy, low voice. So when he released all the voice notes, everyone was like, I don't even know what he's talking about. I just want to hear him talk. So anyway,
speaking of being a hornster over voices and bodies, Attorney Turner, what are your thoughts?
Oh man!
Yeah.
You were my friend. I mean, he is my type. I mean, he's a pretty.
He kind of looks like your ex.
Hey, he's my type too. Damn, he's fine.
But one thing I wanted to point out is there's this X factor to what's happening with this procedurally, as G points out in the comments. There's also an administrative proceeding that Blake filed that hasn't been decided yet. So she filed with the California agency that investigates harassment cases, and she has this lawsuit. So she kind of has insurance that they are going to have to look into this. Somebody is before it gets dismissed. And she didn't have, well, if she filed it as like a EEOC kind of thing, it was a prerequisite. But I think the whole thing is fascinating in this respect. Blake Lively, because I've started watching Gossip Girl. I didn't watch it when it was first out. It's a fascinating show. I mean, my kids watch it and they're like, I thought they were in high school. How are they at a bar drinking martinis? I'm like, it's fiction. Don't drink. It's bad for you. But she has a solid reputation in the industry. You know, Gossip Girl was like 20 years ago, just about, right? And so the thing that he actually is confronting against in the court of public opinion, even though people are tiring of this matter, is she doesn't have a reputation of being a whiner. right? She has a reputation of being somebody who shows up, does her job, gets paid, and leaves. You know,
That
she
was
likes
before
her.
she got married to
Ryan Reynolds.
Right,
Ryan Reynolds.
the troublemaker. I also want to throw in a few other facts because some
Just
people
saying.
want to know what exactly was he saying to her. So supposedly, like he was making comments on her body and comments of other cast members, like what they look like. He also was talking about having like a porn addiction. He also made some comments about her father passing. So basically, she made a whole list in this
And he did too.
harassment complaint.
And he did too. Remember, he released the tape of them while they're, pretending like they're dancing in a scene where she says, "Oh, your nose is big. What else
Right.
is big?" Like
She told him to get a nose job. So
Yeah,
I mean, look, who cares about these two? I don't think their ratings on their show have gone up. I don't think anything. You know,
She's actually been successful. But the thing that's, I think, driving this is she also says that he was taking liberties when they were doing intimate scenes that she did not consent to. That's why things are rallying. And so one of the things that's interesting is the author of the book handpicked her and thought that she'd make the perfect person for the role. She also really liked when he decided to act in it, because initially he was just a director, but he decided to act in it too. But she has come out publicly and said, I support Blake. And the production company has said, I support Blake. And so things may not be as they seem.
Yeah. All right. I get it. All right, algoriters. Put down in the chat, are we over Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds in this case? Drop down in the chat and let us know. Speaking of being over it, Jesus, malicious. Political commentator Dan Bongino's appointment as FBI deputy director has sparked major controversy. Critics question his qualifications, considering the fact he never even been in the FBI before, as well as his past statements. While supporters argue his dedication to law enforcement, it makes him a strong candidate, is what they say. But in the other flip side, in this case, others are arguing the opposite. Critics question his qualifications as well as some of his what would be considered racially generated or focused slurs. Sorry. Is this a case of political favoritism or a well-deserved appointment? Let's take a look.
So this is what they're doing. This is why Clarence Thomas has been speaking out about the national restraining orders. How a judge in New York can give a restraining order for a congressional district in Wyoming is ridiculous. Clarence Thomas has been warning about this forever. This A. Muse on Twitter is talking about this lawfare too. How this Obama-appointed judge threatened Trump and his team with arrest if they don't restore every dime of funding that have been paused or canceled. Folks, my recommendation is Donald Trump should ignore this. This judge is obviously not acting constitutionally at all. It should be ignored. Demand it resuming all, but you can't order the executive to spend. I mean, you've effectively usurped the power of the executive. Now, before I get to the next, I'm going to play you a video by Crazy. Big Balls McGroin is here. Big Balls. I knew we had one. I knew it. I was thinking about this on the Monday show. I'm like, we better have a Big Balls McGroin or the McGroin Army's losing their influence, man. Thank you. You guys.
All right, let's throw to our resident Trumpster, Brian Ross.
First of all,
what are our thoughts? What are our thoughts, Attorney Ross, on the head of the FBI, which probably makes him what? The fourth most influential person in the international sphere.
Well, he's deputy. He's deputy. Cash Patel is number one, who was a former public defender of mine in Miami-Dade. Good, really a good brother, to tell you the truth. But go ahead. The number two.
How do you become the deputy director and you never even been in the FBI?
I don't know how this happens. Again, this is one thing I don't agree with. The guy rants about the FBI, rants, and because he has a following, he gets a job. This is obviously Trump capitulating to his base, putting these people in there. But the problem is, right, you wonder how well thought out it is, because now You're saying the FBI is terrible. The FBI does nothing. The FBI needs to be cleaned up. Now it's your job to do it. So you have to go in there and actually prosecute crime. So this whole thing where you've been standing back from the luxury of your podcast booth, having a good time pointing fingers at someone, becomes very real the moment you have to step in there. And it's not just chasing down criminals and drug dealers. You have a budget. You have HR. You have to go to Senate hearings. It's a real job. So while he gets to do this song and pony dance on a podcast, now let's see if he really can do it. I don't think it's the best appointment. I think because Kash Patel has no FBI experience. He was a public defender, a criminal defense lawyer in Miami with me and Jason. And then because he's Trump's guy, he gets appointed to that. Trump should have hired a person who has administrative, executive experience in law enforcement to go in there and make sure that his ceremonial front head guy does the speaking. Someone else knows what to do. So
Well, first of all, someone that's also had experience in the FBI, because I'm not going to take away from his experience. He was in the Secret Service and he's done other things and he's had high-ranking positions, and I'm not gonna knock that, but zero experience with the FBI. And he's also said things that he publicly accused the FBI and the CIA of trying to rig the election. So
how do you do this? Like, I don't understand how this happens. I don't understand how this.
Let me say this though, Judge, and I'll defer. In my career and Jason's career, believe it or not, you do get cool with people in the FBI. You get,
understood,
right? It's like any other job. They're like, hey, we caught your boy coming across the water with 25 kilos. You're like, come on, bro. You become cool with each other. It's weird. And with the people who I know, who I like, because I don't like all of them, some ratchet. I like a lot of them they tell you that the FBI, there's a lot of like culture there that doesn't pursue crime. That's what they say. That in the last
what's that have to do with the podcast turned
right? I mean, look, he was banned on YouTube in 2022 for his podcast. So he, by attempting to upload a video saying like that masks were useless and coronavirus, and so I mean, look, what a lot of the vetting process seems to not have been done or completely skipped, and it's known that he and the president are friends. He was going in for surgery, and Donald Trump called him, said, "Is there anything I can do for you?" And I don't have a problem where, people that have been loyal to you, people that whatever, you want them on your team, right? When we were all in grade school, sometimes you would go and
director of FBI. I'm sorry, Jason.
No. And I agree with that. No. Giving him a role, I don't have a problem with. But this role as number 2 in the FBI, that I find a little problematic. Maybe a consultant, maybe number 4 in the FBI.
Yeah. Just like I had a problem with the WWE president becoming the head of education.
No, of course, that's totally fine. Now teachers are going to be picking up kids and doing, body slams in the classroom, and we're all going to be cheering it on. So it's good. We'll stream it live on YouTube. No, but yes, it's the same. It's the same thing.
Okay, really quickly. Let me go to my legal beagle, Turner and Carter. Can the two of you please help me understand? Because I thought that there were legal qualifications required for FBI leadership. I was sharing with you guys in the chambers that I applied to be in the FBI back when I was at the University of Virginia. And they started when it was like my 3rd year. And I was sharing that they basically gave me a strip search of my entire life. Starting at kindergarten. They called my kindergarten teacher. For heaven's sake, I was simply just applying to be an agent. How in the world is somebody so corrupt like this, banned from YouTube, he's so silly, and negative about the FBI, now becomes the head of our number 1, if not number 2, intelligence agency? Turner, Carter, are there any legal qualifications that you have to meet?
Well, I mean, they may have asked your kindergarten teacher if you could color within the lines, and that may be why you didn't get picked. I don't know.
Yeah, there's no way he was coloring within those lines. No way.
That line was crossed.
He passed the first test, walking and chewing gum, but once he was asked to color in the lines, that's it, done.
But yeah, those extensive background checks tend to deal with character and fitness. So I'm assuming that he got one of those too, and they said he doesn't lie, he doesn't cheat, he doesn't steal. Oh yeah, he had this problem with YouTube, but let's advance him. I think that the thing that is fascinating about what's been happening with these senior official appointments in the federal government this time around is it almost is the direct opposite to what they've been advocating for in the executive orders with the elimination of preferential programs, right? They call it a different name, but when they talk about the programs they want to disallow, they say, oh, it has to be on merit. Oh, it can't be on preference. It can't be on demographics. And then when it comes down to it, it's like, well, I really like him. And because I really like him, I think I want to give him a chance. You know, he's a smart guy. You know, I'm sure he'll do fine. And that's exactly what they say that they're trying to fight against, but then it doesn't apply to them. So.
Okay, let me go to you, attorney. The criminal defense attorney. Should past public statements disqualify someone from high-level government positions like they have in the past when it comes to their confirmation hearings?
Jason or
you? I guess that's you. You're the criminal attorney.
Well, yeah, I mean, all that comes in. But remember, he doesn't have to be reviewed by the Senate. He's appointed. He's an executive level appointment. So he doesn't have to go through Senate past. He doesn't have to go what Patel went through a couple weeks ago on CNN. He just gets appointed. So really, it doesn't matter what
we think.
Because I mean, I applied for the FBI too. And I'm telling you, they mailed back my application. Didn't even cast it. I mailed the application. They didn't even stamp it. They just sent me back.
That's they associated you with the guy who can't color in the lines. That was like
they were like, don't even take the drug test. We already.
Oh gosh, y'all don't know how scary it was. I was petrified.
Well, I guess I'm the only one that's good enough for that type of service. Actually, it kind of
chill.
Wait a minute, come on, nepotism now. Don't even act like you went through the normal channels. Your mother had a high clearance.
I dated your roommate.
They still had to do my background check for me to work for the CIA.
Hey, I got cleared by the DOJ, so I was good for that. But do you think there's anything in the thought process that, you know, maybe he's putting in people that he can control?
Yes.
Of course.
Someone that won't say no.
Well, I know, it seems like I'm with Christine R. The whole White House is a shit show right now. I can't stomach it. I have to laugh to keep from having a panic attack. I agree.
Yeah.
Every day you wake up is something that's more ridiculous than before. And it's like it almost feels like no one really cares. Like,
hey, Brian, we're getting Doge here in Florida. If DeSantis is doing that, he's starting Doge here.
Doge, Florida.
You know, let me help you with one thing, though, that we help you sleep at night. And the lawyers will know about this very well, okay? The number, every year, the bar elects a new president, the Bar Association. They'd have a new president, a new board, and all that. Who runs the Bar Association?
The lawyers?
Employees, right? I don't care who. Do you know who the president of your local bar or your state bar is? You don't care. You don't know. It doesn't matter. It's a figurehead position. Same thing here. And Obama even explained, there's a story, the greatest story that was told during the Obama administration, where he used to go into with the military advisors and, you know, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, et cetera. And they would always give him these two foreign policy options. He'd say, guys, I hate these options. You never come in with a good option. I'd like to do C. You keep coming to me with A or B. And they said, you're absolutely right. You're the president. We agree with you 100%. Which are you choosing, A or B? The bottom line is he can come in with all kind of crazy stuff he wants to, but the agents themselves know the limits of the law. They know what they can do. They're not going to be willing to go to jail to do the things he wants to do. And at the end of the day, the FBI will run pretty much as it always does because the people who are at the top positions don't run anything. Right. And so that's what allows me to sleep at night a little bit.
Well,
I don't know, Attorney
Carter,
Carter.
you
You're not
might
convincing
need some Ambien, because at the same time that we have these changes in requirements at the top, we also have mass firings and exits beneath. And
That's
so
right.
that's the part that actually makes this a little unsettling, because if it wasn't happening at the same time, I would agree with you. I think that it remains to be seen what the effect is going to be with all this change at once.
Fair
I
enough.
think well said. All right, everybody. As we move on, these likes aren't liking. Can you please do me and these 5 legal beagles a favor? Can you please hit that like button? Also, please hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, please hit the share button. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. And last but not least, keep jumping down in those comments and keep those super chats coming, because I'm loving every second of it. Last but not least on the docket, Grammy-winning gospel singer Leandre Johnson has once again found herself in legal trouble after being arrested for what? Let's guess. Public intoxication. Known for her struggles with addiction, the case raises questions about her personal accountability, her faith, and the pressures of the music industry. All right, I'm going to throw this to you, our criminal defense attorney, because the last time we called her, she was in Florida being loud.
Always
What
Florida.
legal consequences come with public intoxication charges?
Believe it or not, when you're a brand new public defender, this is one of your routine cases. So you get this all the time. And it's not a huge deal, to tell you the truth, Your Honor. Like, it isn't a DUI. It isn't, like she's fighting the cops. She probably got drunk and loud and decided to snap your fingers and break your neck, So the cop was like, okay, just like that. Can you do it again for me, please? Like,
I'm getting flashbacks. Don't do it again.
John, go ahead, John. I know you got one in there. Like, I don't even get bougie on me. I know you got one. Like, I know you got people who watch you.
I've seen her rock her neck.
Hey.
It's got to be authentic.
Get to the Friday show when we have a glass of wine. I'll get her going. I had a judge who I love describe this to me, right? And a guy came in, he was homeless, and they couldn't get rid of him on the street. And the judge says, I understand he's drunk on the street, but the moment they're arresting socialites for drinking white wine on the street in Coral Gables, Florida for happy hour, then I'm going to start putting homeless people in jail for the same thing. And why do I say that? Because that's the way it's depicted. The bigger issue is that she clearly has a substance abuse problem. That's the big problem, that she has a serious substance abuse problem that she needs to address. But the actual underlying crime, it'll be dismissed.
Got it. So in the grand
That's a bad picture. That's a bad picture. Who put that picture up of her, man?
Which one? Which one's bad? The mugshot?
The mugshot is the right one is gorgeous. The one on the left,
Right.
Jason, you get ready to not be invited to the cookout, okay?
Well, I mean, her mugshot picture that I saw was even worse. So,
yeah. So this is my question. So basically, in the grand scheme of things, this is more bad for her in the court of public opinion than it is in criminal life.
Although I would make one point, because it's not just the substance abuse. I think we all understand that this isn't a moral failing. All right, substance, addiction is a disease. We totally get that. What's bothering me though is the public drunkenness arrest. Like Brian was saying, Attorney Ross saying it's one thing to be out public and drunk. If you're in Coral Gables, you're in New Orleans. We all been out in the street drunk. As a matter of fact, that's all you do in New Orleans. All right. If you were not drunk, you get arrested for being sober, right? Public soberness. All right. You only get arrested when you acted a fool. So a couple months ago, when she got arrested in South Carolina, she was in a restaurant, cursing out people. She got arrested this time. They booked her into jail at 12:09 p.m. the afternoon. What were you doing at 11 o'clock that you were so drunk that you started creating a scene? And I'm thinking it's not just a substance here. We got a behavioral problem. We got someone who snaps out, who causes an issue. That's not just substance.
Maybe she never got sober, counselor. Maybe she never was sober.
Carter, have you ever partied hard? I mean, that is not a strength.
Think about it, by 11 o'clock, you still got the energy to fight people in the street.
Yes.
You need to be in bed.
You good and drunk.
Like, ask Attorney Ross in Miami, where the clubs like never close.
Right?
People are drunk at noon.
Absolutely. But are they fighting people at noon?
Why is the club space at 6 o'clock in the afternoon next day?
I'm guilty.
No, think about this. You get drunk, all right, it's 3, 4 in the morning. I don't know about you, but if I'm drunk at 3 or 4 in the morning, only fighting I want to do is horizontal in a bed somewhere. All right.
With a slip on.
With somebody with a slip on. Right? But the point is, the last thing I want to do is to be out there fighting you at Starbucks. You know how much you got to be into it where you went 8 hours after the drinking time and now you fighting people in Starbucks? I'm saying the sister has, and I shouldn't say this, but I don't know this, but I think it's true. There's some underlying behavioral problem that's more than just a substance. You and I get drunk all the time, and we're not fighting people. There's something going on here.
He talks about it. All right, real quickly, let's get to some of the comments.
But the problem is,
ONSC Lenore says, "I want you badly, Al Reynolds." All right, let's go. No girl says, girl says, "Leave New Orleans alone, please." Cheryl Williams says, "Over it." SL says, "Sipping." Sonia Kolakoffer says, "There's something deeper going on with DeAndre." We agree. 100%. Mental health and self-medicating. I agree. Sir Benjamin says Leandria needs to take a break from singing gospel.
It's just
R&B and seek help till she gets better. Oh my God, y'all are bad. LaShondra Manuel says, "Stay home and drink." Yeah, okay. And then Sir Benjamin says, "Ask Attorney Ross."
Really? But Shatan, look at her picture. Can we put her picture back up here, Mr. Producer? Look at her picture. To the audience.
Oh,
how old do you think she is? Guess her age.
She's younger than she looks in this picture. Isn't she in her 30s?
42 years old.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's very young.
She looks like 65.
Wow, man.
And the problem is she's not admitting that she has a problem. She seems to be doubling down and continuing with it. I think everybody would throw the support behind her, and this wouldn't be in the press, and it would be spun differently if she said, "Look, I have a problem. I'm getting help."
I think she has.
No, she hasn't. That's part of the problem.
She said that in November, and then went out and did it again.
No. I've seen her. Like, if you've seen her before she sings her favorite song, which is a really great song that's like known all over the world, especially in the faith community.
Better Days.
She talks about her battle, and she talks about her hard times and how she wants everyone's prayer, and she really wants to try to do and be better. So I just want to defend her as it relates to that, because she definitely does bring it forth before she sings that song. All right, really quickly, this is a part of the show where we go to you, the jury. Yep, you heard me correct. Where we go to you, the jury of the Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, to deliver your verdict along with our legal beagles, case by case. So first up, oh Lord, please don't hold it against me. TD Jakes, is he guilty or not guilty of using the legal system to silence his accusers? Attorney, Entertainment Esquire attorney, what say you?
Not guilty.
Attorney Turner?
Only guilty of having a lisp and nothing else.
Attorney Ross?
TD's not guilty, but he's been associated with some shady characters. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying it's happened.
Attorney Carter?
Trying to save souls.
Well, he's guilty of not turning the other cheek. And he was supposed to be a power bottom and supposed to be turning both cheeks, and he ain't turned no cheeks here. He needs to let it go.
Carter, man.
Producer, cut that part out.
No.
Producer,
Carter,
cut that part out.
Attorney Carter, did you say he's supposed to be a power bottom? He's supposed to turn both cheeks.
Both cheeks.
He's going to hell.
Attorney
Lord, was Sean by himself.
Attorney Weiss?
I'm guilty of not having anything to say after that.
I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm your judge here at Celebrity Court. We're going to find double cheeks Jakes not guilty. Not guilty for this nonsense of being a power bottom.
A picnic table in that picture. Come on.
Simon Gabadia is ICE detaining Simon Gabadia unfairly? Is he guilty or not guilty? Attorney Ross?
Guilty.
Attorney Weiss?
Guilty.
Attorney Turner?
He's guilty of being a bad husband, so send him back to where he came from.
Attorney Entertainment Esquire?
Definitely guilty.
Attorney Carter?
He's almost as guilty as the likes not liking and the thoughts not thoughting for me. Y'all all got your own personal thought in here. Can I get a thought one? Baby, my wife, come on, somebody like me.
I'm going to put it in the comments for you, Attorney Carter. I love you. There you go. I love Attorney Carter.
Attorney Ross comes in and takes all the attention.
Said, will somebody please like
He
you?
got his glasses on.
Will somebody please like Attorney Carter? I'm Alan. I'm the judge here. It's Celebrity Court, and we're going to find Simon guilty.
We don't wear slips.
Simon's goner. Simon's a goner. Simon is a
Okay.
goner.
Oh, Tony
Thank you,
Busby. Is Tony Busby guilty or not guilty of practicing sloppy law entertainment Esquire?
Definitely guilty. You're out of here, Busby.
Attorney Ross?
Yeah, he's guilty.
Attorney Turner?
Guilty as charged.
Attorney Weiss?
Oh, guilty.
Attorney Carter?
Yeah, he's guilty.
All right, I'm Alan. Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. We're going to find Busby. Busby is guilty for being sloppy and chasing ambulance. All right, next the debate lively. All right, are we guilty or not guilty? Are we all just over it? Entertainment attorney Esquire?
Are you saying is Justin guilty or not guilty?
Okay, let me.
Because he filed the lawsuit. I don't think.
Did Baldoni's lawsuit go too far?
Did it go too far? No, I don't think he's guilty of going too far. She hit him up first, so he's only responding.
All right, Attorney Turner.
I think the lawyers are guilty of allowing this to go out of control. They need to have taken this to mediation and have it be over.
Attorney Weiss.
I'm guilty of not caring, and we're guilty of giving this too much traction.
Attorney Ross.
I'm going to follow in my well-esteemed colleagues' footsteps. I'm guilty of still not understanding. Only thing that made sense was $400 million.
All right, now before we go on, somebody here said,
Thank you, sister. I appreciate it.
Teeny Twan says, hey, Attorney Carter.
There we go.
No slips over here.
I don't want to be the only one not in trouble my wife tonight. That's all I'm saying.
We love you, Attorney Carter, for representing the women who wear slips and have slips. All right, I'm Al here in the Court of Public Opinion. We're going to find everything about that case guilty. They're guilty of getting on my damn nerves, and I don't want to talk about it no more.
What he's guilty of is that damn pink suit.
All right, Bongino should then Bongino be removed from his position. Is he guilty or not guilty for being the unqualified entertainment attorney Esquire?
Definitely guilty of being unqualified.
Attorney Turner?
Agree, guilty.
Attorney Ross?
He's qualified. He's not guilty.
Attorney Weiss?
He's listening, so he can do whatever he wants. I'm guilty.
Jason, you read my mind, man. I was like, he's listening.
Attorney Carter, what say you?
Man, he's about as qualified as a TikTok influencer. All right, he can launch a blog, but he can't launch an investigation.
Exactly. Listening.
All right, I'm Al Reynolds.
I ain't scared of
Whatever he wants. I'm
Bongino.
speaking for all of us.
I'm Al Reynolds. Listen, I'm Al Reynolds here in Celebrity Court Public Opinion, and we're going to find him. Bleep. Not catching me on the record.
Nope.
Last but not least,
Y'all better
is
learn.
Leandria Johnson guilty or not guilty of getting help? That's what we want to know. Is she getting help? Is she guilty or not guilty of getting help? Entertainment Esquire, what say you?
If she's getting help, then I guess she's not guilty.
All right, Attorney Turner.
I think whoever's given her help is guilty of being ineffective.
I agree. Attorney Weiss?
She is guilty of needing better help.
Attorney Ross.
Guilty of definitely drinking outside her house. Stay inside your house next time.
Attorney Carter.
I gotta say this. Obviously she needs help, but she doesn't just need substance abuse help. There's another underlying problem there. You starting fights with people at 11 o'clock in the morning. You should at least, I don't know about you, but it takes me 7 to 8 hours after I get up to really be mad at anybody. All right, she's waking up mad or not going to sleep mad. Get a bedtime. By the way, 11 o'clock's too late to be up to. Get a bedtime.
All right, I'm Al Reynolds here in the Celebrity Court. I'm the judge, and we're going to find her guilty of not getting the right help, but hoping that she does, because she is an incredible singer. All right, the cases we discussed tonight remind us of one undeniable truth, and that is what justice is complex. For some, it's a shield. For others, it's a sword. We've seen allegations that shake faith, disputes that could rewrite Hollywood contracts, and decisions that impact our legal institutions. But in the end, what matters most is public accountability. Are the powerful truly above the law, or do we, the people, have the power to hold them accountable? We leave that question with you here, the jury of the Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. And until next time, stay vigilant, stay informed, and remember, justice isn't always found in the courtroom, but in the eyes of those who seek it. Court is now adjourned.
And just a quick RIP to Roberta Flack.
Oh, yes, Roberta Flack. Oh, so sad. All right, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you.